Hello, welcome to Stephen Speak the podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to be obviously touching on Christmas a little bit. Very nice, very nice. Today, Christmas. It's today. I'm actually recording this on the day it's going out, so it is the 17th of December. Get rid of them bells for a minute, and we're just going to do a bit of a retrospective of the podcast, where we wanted to go with it, where we've been, and chat through some of the podcasts that we've done, and some of the things I've got planned. If you'll indulge me, so yeah, let's get into that. Welcome to Stephen Speak the podcast. Unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Thank you very much, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for joining me. This is the final episode. We should have said that in the intro, to be honest. It's the final episode of season 3. Anyone that's been an avid listener throughout the series, that you'll know these series are getting slightly shorter. There's no real reason for this. It's just what fits me at the time, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just because I think I'm kind of taking it off what you guys are kind of telling me, and yeah, just pretty much just what you guys are telling me. If I'm honest with you, by your listens and likes and. It's hard to do something for 20 weeks. I can very rarely keep anything up for hobby-wise, just to clarify. And I find it difficult to concentrate and do with anything like weekly. So for me, this is somewhat challenging. It's not at the same time because I enjoy it, but it can be somewhat challenging to do something every single week. So this break might be a little bit longer than the last one. It may be shorter. It depends how organised I am. But I just wanted to kind of dedicate this episode to you guys. Say thank you very much for, being around, listening, giving me likes, thumbs ups, giving me some feedback. And if you've been a guest on the show, thank you so much. So we've got Steve, who was the first guest, and then another Steve, and then Scott. All the S's, and obviously I'm a Steve as well, so it's kind of confusing. And then we've had Johnny, who's going to be on again next season. We've already recorded some episodes of Johnny. And then we've had Lucy as well, that's been on the show, which was the first time that an outside source contacted me and requested to be on the show as a local resource for my area, which was really nice. And that's what led me on to thinking about things a bit differently about the podcast, and made me lead into what I'm going to tell you I would like to take it in what direction I'd like to take it in. But yeah, I just thought I'd quickly go back through some of my episodes and just have a look at, some of the things I've spoken about over the last, I think it's 20 months. I started this podcast in April 2022, which is crazy to think about it, that it's been going that long. But thank you if you've been a listener throughout. Really, really appreciate it. I was going to end on another question and answer session, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it out there to you guys for series 4. Let's do a Q&A. So send me questions, message me on social media at StephenSpeakPC. Email through the website if you want. You can contact me that way. And yeah, submit your questions, submit what you'd like to hear. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, then just hit me up. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, also do that. So yeah. I just thought I'd go through some of the, through some of the old episodes and just see what I was talking about and see if I can work out what I was talking about from some of the headings. Because recently, you may have noticed that my headings have got a little bit more. I don't know how to describe it really. Maybe complex, maybe a bit more professional, maybe a bit more cloak and dagger. Let's say. Because I've started using AI, I decided to pay a little bit extra on my Buzzsprout subscription, who are my podcast hosts. Shout out to them. Not a sponsor, but, it's a really, really good resource to use. And I think that's probably the reason that I've been keeping it going, because it's so easy to just upload a podcast, especially the way I do it. But yeah, so I just wanted to go through some of my, what was I saying then? I said lost. Oh yeah, I've been using AI for the titles. Yes, I've been using AI. I'm like a magpie today. Ooh, shiny. God. Yeah, so I've been using AI to just do some transcripts for me, titles of the videos, and yeah, and just like the description of the episode, and then just trying to tweak it a little bit. I probably have to go through some of them to found, maybe edit them a bit further. I've seen a few mistakes. But yeah, it's helped me out a little bit more, to be honest, because it's, even though it takes a little bit longer because it has to like scan the episode I upload, it kind of gives me some sort of guidance. Sometimes I don't always use the headings that they do, that they suggest, but I kind of sometimes use it as an influence for it. So it's kind of handy, and it's always good for the transcripts as well, because apparently that ups your Google SEO stuff. I don't know. It's all very complex stuff. All very complex stuff, which I should read up more on. But as I always said, I'm not doing this for like massive success. As long as I'm not doing it and not getting anyone listening, which I am, and I feel like the listening levels have increased. I've been looking through my Buzzsprout stats, and I am growing as a podcast, which is good. I'm happy. People are listening to my prattle and somewhat enjoying it by the seams. And if you are, let me know. The one thing is about this, like, there's not like a conversation. This is why I really enjoy doing guest episodes, because it's like, it is a two-way street. I'm conversing with people, and it's not just me talking to a microphone staring at my computer and all my flashy lights on my desk. It's an actual conversation, which is what I like. I try and make the podcast seem like a conversation, and I hope that comes across, or at least some sort of like lively speech, rather than me just going rah, 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 down a microphone to you. I don't know what that noise was. Yeah, but I just thought today's episode would be, just a general chit chat. I think I've said that enough now. I've just finished putting up the Christmas tree a bit late this year. Me and my wife aren't really, unusual for her. She's not into it, but it just seems a lot of effort this year to put everything up. And we've just finished putting the tree up and a couple of little things around the house, but not much. The house is in a bit of disarray, to be honest. There's a lot of random stuff going on, and yeah, I think we both need a break. I definitely do. I'm looking forward to the break, not only from a little break from the podcast, but also a break from work. And while I'm off, I'm going to do some podcast stuff, try and prep for the next season, which I don't know when it's going to be out yet. I think it's going to be probably like mid to like maybe the third week of January. 100% decided yet. I think it kind of depends on how I'm doing with my time management skills. Work's very busy. It's only going to get busier, so I kind of need to focus on this downtime for a bit of rest, but also focus on the things that I really need to focus on. So on my list, if I get into the episodes, God, this isn't going in any order whatsoever. Welcome if it's your first time. Go back and listen to others. It gets no better. At least you have fun, hopefully. Yeah, so I'm looking to redo the logo. I would like to kind of ratify the logo into something that I can use across multiple platforms. I did register as a business a few months ago, even though that's gone wrong because the name's wrong. I didn't fill it in. My accountant did, and he put my name wrong on the thing, so it's really annoying. So I've got to sort that out before I can get a business account. Anyway, I'd like a logo that I can use for the business, and then maybe have a second one for the things that produce from that big business. So I'm kind of registered as a media production company. So I wanted to do that to cover you remember maybe that I did a soundscape for the local council. So I wanted to cover stuff that I produce musically, sound wise, audio stuff, but also including this podcast and potentially photography and stuff like that. So keeping my options open by keeping it a bit broad. So I kind of want a logo for that, which I think I'm going to stick with the one I've got, but then maybe just have a redesign for the podcast. So it depends how well I do on that. Because fundamentally, I want to rebrand, and then I'd like to produce some merchandise, maybe some more stickers. I'd like to get some merch done for myself, either be it as the media company and or the podcast or both, just to get myself out there a bit and say I'm not fundamentally wanting to make money off the company and off this, but I think the potential could be there. So if it ever comes across that, I've got things set up, and nothing ventured, nothing gained, all that. But fundamentally, you're going to get the same Steven speak going into season 4. Expect things falling over in the room. Expect some guests on the show. I've definitely got one on the show already. I'm looking to get a few more. And again, if you're open and you've got something interesting to say, hit me up. Yeah, anything really leading on to that is just like, I got to get my logo sorted. And then I got to get that expanded across all the social medias, the website and stuff. So that's quite a bit of work. It just sounds like, it's an exchange of logos and stuff. But, you've got to think about where that's been used. And then you've got to do all the different sizes for all the different social medias and the banners and all that sort of stuff. Because I've never updated the banners from when I redid this one last year. I'm terrible. So I've got to do all that. I want to update the website as well. And if I produce some merch, then there may be a little bit of a shop on there. Depending on how I do that, I may do that through a third party, because there's a lot of companies now that will literally let you open a shop via their website, and then they produce the stuff and just send it out on your behalf, which might be the easiest way to do. I don't know yet. I honestly don't know. But these are the things I'm thinking of, and I'd like to do a little bit more organised in the episodes that I do and the content that I put out there. I know I've said about doing video ones in the past, so some video podcasts, so that you don't have to just listen, you can actually watch on YouTube. I do upload to YouTube, and I still have to put Series 1 and 2 on there as well, which is another task for some point. But I don't want to overwhelm myself. The big thing for me is if I can redesign the logo and get that sorted, then that's a bonus. And basically just organising my thoughts and trying to plan a little bit. Currently, I don't really plan at all. And I think I've just got to start maybe a couple of spreadsheets. Yay, spreadsheets. Just to track my stuff and see who I've asked to be on the show, what their response was, etc. And just for my own documentation, and so it's not all having to be stored in my head all the time. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I've got some plans, and I'm hoping that some of the people I hope will want to appear on the show will come on the show. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back through some of the episodes. So when I first started Stephen Speak, I did not know what I was going to do. Same as now, really. Didn't really know how it was going to do, what I was going to talk about. And again, nothing's really changed. I started off, and because I really enjoyed it, I started off like doing a weekly Stephen Speak. Now I started interspersing it with a bonus episode, which then I then started calling Extra Speak. And I only did like two episodes, I think, probably of Stephen Speak before this bonus episode came about of Extra Speak. So if you go back to like Series 1 and through Series 2, you'll see these interspersed episodes as bonuses. So they don't really sit in any series. They were just like an onward, like an ongoing kind of series called Extra Speak. And I think I got to 55 of them before I stopped, because I wanted to focus. That was quite a lot of work for me to do, like a 10-15 minute episode midweek, and also then do like a half an hour episode the weekend, especially when I was getting guests on. So I decided to knock that on the head. It might come back, it might not. Or I may just like up the episodes, I don't know. Or I might minimize the episodes and do an Extra Speak in between, so like you're still getting the same amount, but of a different sort. I don't know. Who knows? So yeah, so I know that I had at the end of, it was like partway through Series 2, I think it was. And they were like the shorter episodes where my podcasts were longer. I decided that for retention purposes, because I was thinking, what do I listen to and what do I watch? And to be fair, 15-20 minutes when while you're having a brew and stuff is quite an acceptable amount of time. So I've been trying to keep them down to like 15 to 20 minutes now. Normally they make 20 minutes. The guest speaks have still been about half an hour. So, because there's a back and forth, there's a bit more time there. So that was my thinking when I first started this. This normal episode and this quick episode that you could enjoy, a quick snippet of my ramblings, anywhere between up to 15 minutes was the idea for the Stephen Speak extras. So yeah, so I started off my very first episode all the way back, and it was before I was even putting like Series 2, Episode 12, and all that on the episode name. I was just putting the episode name and not telling you what episode it was. Maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I do. Maybe I need to go back and rename all these. I have no idea. Would that be a good idea? I don't know. So my very first episode was This is Stephen Speak. And that was literally, I think, I'll just click on it. I think it's just basically me talking about what I was planning to do, and what my thought process was for starting the podcast and such things. Then the following episode was called "Come With Me to a World of Pure Imagination," and that's my most popular downloaded episode, I think, out of everything. It's had well over 100 views and listens, and that basically is just about me using my imagination. So I introduced Stephen Speak Extra Speak on that as well, and it's just about like how I used imagination as a child to play, and weird imagination stuff that I do as an adult, like pretending I'm being exploded while I'm going up the stairs and stuff like that, and shooting guns because I am a big child. And it was also about me punching an 8-year-old. Apparently, I'm just reading. I can't remember that being included in that episode, but go and listen to that episode if you want the full story. I was also 8 as well. I wasn't an adult punching an 8-year-old. And then we start the extra speaks. And with the extra speaks as well, I had in my brain that I would do them on certain subjects, so like music or media kind of thing, or technology. And it was so in the description of everyone, it was like, this week I taught music, and the first extra speak was about a song called Dear Chicago by Ryan Adams. So I just talk about that for 5 minutes. It's a beautiful song. And then episode 4 was No Hope, and that's about my dad's DIY. And that was quite a fun episode to talk about because it's quite funny stories. Work for a Living Pa is another extra speak, and that's about my mum and dad recalling a story of when I was basically saying that I didn't want to work, I wanted to be a manager. Now I am a manager, I realise that managers also do work. I don't know, I'm not a CEO or anything like that, but, I suppose I am. I have registered as a business. Ooh. Never thought about that before. Just slurping my coffee. I've got a coffee for once today. No Pepsi. I was thinking, the other day, should I write to Pepsi and ask for, like, an episode sponsorship? Because I mentioned Pepsi so much on the show. Maybe I should just say to them, listen, just sponsor one episode. Let me put your logo on one episode and just pay me pay me a tenner and give me a couple of bottles of Pepsi. That would do me. I don't care. So a lot of these extra speaks are about about music and stuff, really, and about films. And then I may expand on a couple of them. I may go back and talk about some of them, because some of the episodes of Extra Speak are quite short, and they're probably about things that are like could be expanded on. I then do an episode about my mum, my Queen Elizabeth. That's called because she's called Liz. I've not done one with my brother yet. Actually, I want to do one with my brother, and I want to do an episode of Guest Speak with my brother-in-law, Michael. I think he'd be hilarious. My brother is incredibly interesting, very talented man at many things. Wasted talent, you could say, on many things. He could probably be pretending his hand to a lot of things at the moment. And I wish he would believe in himself more. But that could be the same for me, because we're very similar in that sense that we're probably talented more than we think we are, and we don't embrace it enough. But I definitely want to get both of them on the show, maybe even together. Don't know what that would go like. I want to get my mate Scott back on the show as well. I'd even like to get. I want to try and get a couple of people that I follow on Instagram on, and maybe even a couple of local businesses and stuff like that. But I want to turn it into like sort of a business kind of promotion podcast. I'd like to turn it into more of a talking to interesting people thing, and just having a laugh and and just learning about things, because I like to learn about people. I like to listen to people's stories. So when we had Steve, second Steve, Geek Steve, as I'll call him, and he was on talking about Star Wars and Turtles, TMNT, and why he likes it. And he told a really interesting story about Carrie Fisher. Go back and listen to that episode. All the guest speakers I think are brilliant. I love them all. Some of them are split over two episodes. Some of them are just one. But yeah, go back and listen to them and tell me what you think. And I'll share some of the the episode details again on social media. But yeah, just looking through all these episodes, I can't believe just scrolling through this massive page. And it's interesting seeing like what ones have like quite a few listens and what don't. I have seen definitely an upturn in this series. Like I've gone from like the average of like probably anywhere between 10 to 20 listens, which isn't a lot, and I'm bringing home at least normally now over 30 straight away, and then going into the 40s. So like this series has been an upturn for me, and I'm so proud of myself for keeping it going. But I'm just really thankful to you guys for listening. I know this has been a bit of a weird episode, just me ranting about my own stuff, not ranting, self promotion. No, but it means so much, and it's not cheap. I have to pay for the subscriptions and stuff like that. I've put my own money into it, so it's not like it's a free thing. I have to pay for the hosting, and it's not a massive amount of money. I think for the probably cathartic nature of it is probably minimal, really, for what it gives me back in something to do and the joy of it. But I'm always interested in what you guys have to think, so please get in contact with me. If you want to be on the show, let me know. We can have a chat. I'm going to leave it for now because I'm just going to go on and on and on and on and talk bollocks. But say this is the last episode of this season, so thank you so much. Keep an eye on social media and the website. I'm going to do loads of updates, and I will tell you when we're going to return. And I will speak to you all again in the new year when it becomes 2024. My God, I'm 41 next year. Oh my God, this is terrible. Anyway, have a great Christmas. Have a massive, brilliant new year, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. You've been listening to Stephen Speak the podcast. Thanks for listening to my unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Visit stephenspeak.com for updates, information, and my blog. You can follow more updates on social media at StephenSpeakPC. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.